You want to win? Then stop showing the world your wounds. Kings don't cry in public. Warriors don't limp. They fight like the pain doesn't exist. Because the moment you act hurt, the world smells weakness and eats you alive. In life, you will bleed, you will break. But champions learn to move like they're bulletproof. This isn't about denying pain. It's about not feeding it. You don't get strong by feeling sorry for yourself. You get strong by showing up like pain never touched you. It's time to act like nothing hurts. Because your future doesn't care about your feelings. Pain is not permission to pause. It's a signal that you're in the right place. The place where growth actually begins. That burn in your chest, that pressure in your head, that's not your body breaking down. That's your comfort zone falling apart. And that's exactly what needs to happen if you're ever going to level up. The problem is, most people treat pain like an exit sign. They hit the wall, feel the sting, and instantly start negotiating with their goals. They slow down, they pull back, they start saying things like, maybe this isn't for me, or maybe I'm not ready. That's not pain talking. That's weakness pretending to be wisdom. That's your inner coward trying to survive in a world that only respects those who push through, not those who tap out. Every great success story is written in discomfort, no exceptions. You think the top performers don't feel pain? You think they're immune to fear or failure? No. They just don't let it dictate their pace. They learn to move with it, to operate through it. Pain becomes a training ground for their discipline, not the graveyard for their dreams. They understand that pain is not the problem, permission is. The second you give yourself permission to stop, you've told your mind that quitting is an option, and once quitting is on the table, it becomes a habit. First, you quit the reps. Then you quit the schedule. Then you quit the dream. That's the pattern. And it all starts with surrendering to pain. You either act through the pain or sit in it forever. Those are your two choices. And sitting in it doesn't make it go away. It just marinates you in regret. It keeps you stuck in this low-level agony where you're not progressing, but you're still hurting. That's the worst kind of pain. The pain of potential wasted. The pain of what if and almost. On the flip side, when you push through it, when you keep showing up, when it's hard, when it's messy, when it's brutal, that's when the pain transforms. It becomes your weapon, it becomes your story. It becomes the fire that forged something unshakable. So stop treating pain like a red light. It's not a stop sign, it's a green light that says go harder. When your legs shake, go anyway. When your mind screams, stay focused. When your heart says, I can't, answer with, I will. Because every time you defy the pain, you upgrade your limits. You build a new standard. And that's what separates the winners from the watchers. The ones who keep moving when it hurts. Because empires aren't built in comfort. They're built in chaos. Brick by brick, scar by scar. That's how it works. So don't you dare sit down.
This is 1080p,
don't you dare wait for the pain to pass. Learn to carry it. Learn to lead with it. Learn to act like it doesn't own you.
Currently we are in Sheikh Zayed in
because it doesn't.
The famous
you
business
do.
district here.
Emotion is fuel, not a brake. But most people, they treat it like a wall. They feel something heavy, grief, rage, fear, and they hit the brakes. They stop. They let that emotion own them, chain them, and define what they do next. That's weakness. That's surrender. Winners don't operate like that. Winners feel the same pain, the same pressure, the same chaos, but they weaponize it. They pick up that emotion like a tool and use it to carve their future. You're angry? Good. That means something matters to you. The fire inside isn't something to run from, it's something to steer. Aim it, direct it, turn it into discipline, turn it into obsession. Anger is a gift when it's controlled. It's the spark that says, I refuse to stay where I am. Losers lash out, champions lock in. They don't let rage burn them, they turn it into fuel and light the damn way forward. You're sad. That's okay. That's human. But now what? Are you gonna sit in it and rot, or are you gonna rise with it? Sadness is just a signal. It tells you something's missing. Use it. Let it remind you of your mission. Let it drill into your chest until you move. Let it make you sharp, not soft. Emotions don't weaken you unless you surrender to them. You get to choose whether they drown you or drive you. Fear's another one. Most people freeze when they're afraid. They shut down. But fear is focus. Fear is clarity. It strips away the fluff and says, right now, this is real. You take that fear, and instead of running from it, you run through it. It means you're doing something worth doing. It means you're growing. Growth always hurts, so don't misread the signal. Fear doesn't mean stop. It means step the hell up. The weak wait to feel good before they act. They wait for confidence, peace, happiness. That's why they stay stuck. That's why they never build anything. Champions act regardless of how they feel. They turn pain into power. They turn heartbreak into hunger. They turn exhaustion into execution. They flip every emotion into momentum. They don't need life to feel perfect. They just need to keep moving. You don't need to suppress your emotions. That's not strength, that's denial. What you need is control. What you need is leverage. Your emotions are energy, raw and untamed. But energy, when directed, moves mountains. It builds legacies. It fuels revolutions. If you're gonna feel something, make it count. Don't waste it on breakdowns. Use it for breakthroughs. Stop being scared of your feelings. Start bending them to your will. That's how you win. That's how you become untouchable. Not by avoiding emotion, but by turning it into your engine. Emotion is not your enemy. It's not your weakness. It's your weapon. So pick it up and go to war. Perception is power, and most people don't understand how deep that truth runs. You can be falling apart inside, battling demons no one sees, questioning your worth, doubting every step. But if you show up like you're solid, people believe it. Because the world doesn't read your mind. It reads your energy, your posture, your presence. You act broken, they treat you like you're breakable. You flinch, and they assume you're weak. That's how life works. Fair? No. But true? Absolutely. You will never get rewarded for being fragile. You get rewarded for showing strength in the face of chaos. This is not about being fake. It's about being intentional. It's about taking ownership of how you present yourself, even when everything inside screams otherwise. If you carry yourself like you're a victim, guess what you attract? More pain, more excuses, more people stepping over you. But when you walk like you're fireproof, when you move like you're the storm, not the wreckage, people take notice. Opportunities open, doors unlock. Power respects power, even when it's self-generated. Confidence is not some magical feeling you wake up with. It's a habit, it's a decision, it's a costume you choose to wear every day until it fuses with who you are. You want to be respected? Then stop moving like someone who needs saving. You want to lead? Then stop leaking self-doubt. In your words, in your tone, in your posture. Look people in the eye, speak with intent. Stand tall even when your heart is crawling. The moment you decide to look unshakable, you start becoming unshakable. People are mirrors. They reflect back what you show them. Show them uncertainty, they'll question you. Show them authority, they'll follow you. It's that simple. And here's the truth that most won't say out loud. No one is coming to check how you really feel. No one's going to pull you aside and ask if you're okay beneath the surface. The world takes you at face value. So you either give it the image of power or you surrender to the label of weakness. This is why posture matters, why presence matters, why self-talk matters. Because perception creates reality. And if you can master your presence, you can shape the way the world treats you. You can bend situations to your will. You can lead, influence, dominate, not because you're perfect, but because you command your space with conviction. So don't wait until you feel confident. Don't wait until you feel strong. Show up like you already are. Confidence is a costume, yes, but the more you wear it, the more it becomes skin. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll look in the mirror and the act won't be an act anymore. It'll be who you've become: unbreakable, untouchable, unstoppable. All because you understood that perception, not pain, is power. Silence screams strength. It's the loudest language of the truly powerful. Because when life knocks most people down, what do? They whine. They post about it. They seek sympathy, applause for their endurance, and validation for their suffering. But the strongest among us, those forged in fire, move in silence. They don't explain their wounds. They don't list their obstacles. They just keep executing like nothing happened. Because that's real power. Moving forward with no announcement, no excuse, no drama. You think champions are always confident because they're never scared? Wrong. They're terrified, exhausted, sometimes broken inside, but they never let it leak. While the weak broadcast their pain, the strong buried under results. You'll never hear them complain. You'll just see them win. You'll see them outlast everyone. Why? Because they've mastered the art of being unshakable. They don't need to convince you how hard their journey is. They let the outcome prove it. That's the difference between noise and legacy. Noise screams for attention. Legacy whispers through discipline. When chaos erupts, most people react with panic, with words, with breakdowns. But the elite, they stay composed. That silence isn't emptiness, it's precision, it's clarity. It's a refusal to feed the drama. When you hurt, when you're lost, when nothing makes sense, the worst thing you can do is vomit that pain into the world. Because guess what? The world doesn't care. It's watching to see if you fold. So don't give them the satisfaction. Give them results. Show them that no matter what life throws at you, you keep showing up, locked in, unfazed. That's how legends are born. Not through the spotlight, but in the shadows. In those lonely, brutal moments when no one's clapping and no one knows what you're carrying. That's where you forge strength. Not in the victory, but in the restraint. In the days you say nothing but grind anyway. In the nights you break inside but still show up like a damn machine the next day. That silence, that's your roar. That's your proof. Anyone can talk, anyone can cry out, but few can walk through hell without making a sound. That's what separates you. That's what makes you dangerous, because they can't read you. They don't know if you're wounded or winning. All they see is consistency, execution, precision. That mystery is power. When people don't know what phase you're in, when you're hurt, healing, or rising, they can't prepare for your next move. And that unpredictability is lethal. So next time you're in pain, remember this. Saying less doesn't make you weaker, it makes you sharper. It makes you untouchable. Don't explain, don't complain, just dominate. Let your silence speak louder than their noise. Let your grind outtalk your wounds. Let your execution be so loud it drowns out your suffering. Be the storm that walks quietly but wrecks everything in its path. Practice unbreakable posture. Train yourself to respond, not react. Set your jaw. Keep your shoulders back. Breathe slow. Move sharp. Your body leads your brain. Posture isn't about looking strong. It's about becoming unshakable from the outside in. The world won't wait for you to heal, so move like you're already whole. Posture is not just physical. It's psychological warfare. Every inch of how you carry yourself tells the world what to expect from you. If you slouch, drag your feet, lower your eyes, you're telling the world, I've already surrendered. You're broadcasting defeat before you've even stepped on the battlefield. But when you hold your head high, spine straight, and eyes locked on your next move, you become a force of nature. Not because you don't feel pain, but because you refuse to let it define you. The world doesn't give points for sympathy. It doesn't care about your sob story. It watches how you walk through it. Your posture under pressure determines how people treat you, how opportunities react to you, how enemies perceive you. That's why you train yourself to stand strong, even when everything inside you is screaming to collapse. That's power. That's dominance. That's how winners are made. You must become a master of your presence. Walk into every room like you belong there. Speak like your words carry weight, even when you don't feel it, especially when you don't feel it. Move like you are undeniable, because eventually you become what you act like. Pretend long enough to be powerful, and you stop pretending. This isn't about arrogance. It's about certainty. You train your posture not for vanity, but for victory, because when chaos strikes, the only thing that keeps you from falling apart is what you've drilled into yourself daily. That set jaw, that slow breath, that razor-sharp walk, that presence. When others panic, you stay still. When they fold, you rise. Your posture becomes your armor. And not just for the world, but for you. You start believing in your own strength. You start trusting your own composure. Even in silence, your posture speaks. In pain, your movement matters. You don't announce struggle, you show strength. Not through noise, not through pity, but through presence. That's how leaders lead. That's how giants are built. Not by crying louder, but by standing taller. So next time you're tempted to shrink, to sag, to let the weight of life hunch your back, fight it. Stand up straighter, look forward, lock in. Because the more unbreakable you look, the more unbreakable you become. You want to conquer this life, then master the first battlefield, your body. Move like nothing can touch you. Posture is power. Own it. Train it. Live it. The world respects the untouchable because they're invincible, but because they act like they are. They don't flinch. They don't fold. And that's what makes them dangerous. Your enemies are always watching, quietly hoping to see a crack in your armor. They want to see you twitch, react, break character, because the moment you show weakness, they pounce. But when you give them nothing, no reaction, no visible pain, no explanation, they don't know how to attack. They're left with uncertainty. And in a world that feeds on doubt, you become the unpredictable force they can't touch. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about training your mind to rise above the chaos. You might be bleeding inside, you might be hurting like hell, but when you walk into a room with your head high, eyes locked, shoulders squared, like nothing can touch you, you change the entire energy around you. You command respect without saying a word. You send a message. I am not someone you can shake. Mystery is power. Your silence is a weapon. Your ability to absorb hits without making noise is what separates the kings from the clowns. Anybody can scream when life stings. Anybody can complain when they're tired. But very few can stand tall when everything inside them is begging to collapse, and do it with composure so sharp it rattles the people watching. That's presence. That's dominance. You must understand your presence is your position in this world. You don't need to yell to prove strength. In fact, the loudest person in the room is usually the weakest. True power is still, silent, and felt, not heard. The world bows to the calm, the composed, the unshaken. People are drawn to certainty. If you walk like you've already won, they'll start to believe it, even if you're still in the trenches. When you become the storm, you don't worry about the rain. You don't flinch at the thunder. You are the thunder. You bring the pressure. And the second you stop responding to every little thing thrown your way, be it criticism, betrayal, failure, you rise above the noise and become something more. You become untouchable. Not because you're numb, but because you've decided nothing is stronger than your purpose. So the next time life tries to punch you in the gut, don't react, respond. Not with words, not with emotions, but with unbothered movement. Let them wonder why nothing phases you. Let them guess what's fueling your fire. That's how legends are made, in silence, under pressure, with the eyes of doubters fixed on you, and you giving them absolutely nothing. You don't have time to explain the pain. You have empires to build, legacies to carve. The world doesn't reward the wounded. It crowns the relentless. So walk like you've never been hurt. Speak like you've never been broken. Act as if nothing hurts, because that's how you win.